G'day, Tom here from Reformers Bookshop, and welcome back to another Browse the Bookshop with Tom. We're a little late today, but you'll see the results of that lateness a little later, hopefully if you're watching out on our Facebook page. All right, let me welcome you again. If this is the first time you're tuning in to Browse the Bookshop with Tom, this is how it works. I've got a little stack of books here that I'm going to enjoy telling you about, and this is a live session, so if you're tuning in live and you want to know something about books or about a particular book that you're looking for or a particular topic you'd like advice on, feel free to comment in the chat. If you're watching after this live session has closed, feel free to get in touch. We love to help people find great Christian books, and you can reach us by phone, email, on Facebook Messenger, or even just comment on this video and we'll get back to you. So, let me get into the books that I have here. Well, not all books, as you'll see. I thought I'd start. It's school holidays just starting, so I thought, what would be some good books for kids or good things for kids? And so I thought I'd give you some ideas. This one here, The Riot and the Dance, has been out for a little while, but if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. I don't know if your kids like nature documentaries, but I force mine to watch them. and this is a really good one. My kids like it. It's sort of like David Attenborough cross Steve Irwin with a Christian, maybe cross Ken Ham, right? So it's creationist, and he's looking at creation and glorying in the way that God's made things, and he weaves the gospel in through that story in a great way. And when I say he, I mean Gordon Wilson, the biologist who is the narrator in that one. So that'd be a great watch during school holidays to kill some time. To make productive use of the time. Here's some others. So I don't know if you have older kids, these are great little biographies. This is the Trailblazers series. There's a whole stack of them. There's got to be 24 at least, of different little biographies on Christians from throughout the ages, and they're written to be read by kids who are 9 to 14 years old, but I have kids who are younger than that, so if that's what you have, you can read these to your kids. I read them at night when they're going to sleep, and they love them. And so I read Jonathan Edwards to them, I don't know, probably a year ago now. So there's that one, or they come in a box sets as well. This one's about people who are engaged in arts and science, people like C.S. Lewis and Michael Faraday and Patricia St. John. So there are some ideas for kids' books, particularly for the older kids. Now, something else that's new for us is we just set up on our website a clearance section. And so what that's all about is that we stock books that we believe are solid and rigorous theologically. They're all good books in our range. And so in a clearance section, we're not trying to get rid of the dodgy books, if you like. Instead, it's books that we've just ended up with a little bit too much stock of. And so we decided to put up a clearance section where you can get good books cheap. All our books are very well priced, but these are particularly cheap. Let me show you some of them. This one here is a book about parenting by Joel Beeke. It's called Parenting by God's Promises. It's normally $26.99, I believe, and it's currently going for $15. And these are all while stocks last, and we might take them off if we've sold enough of them. So get onto them quickly. This book, I haven't read it all the way through, but this is what I like about it so far. It's very practical. It's also based very strongly in Scripture. It's also informed by our past, our Christian heritage. Joel Beeke is very famous for his knowledge of the Puritans. And it's also comprehensive in that it doesn't just deal, a lot of parenting books will sort of deal with that early age, sort of 0 to 5, but Joel Beeke deals with teenagers, he deals with grandparenting in there a little bit, and he also deals with those younger ages as well. So this is a really good resource for parents. Another one that's in our clearance section is by John Bunyan. John Bunyan, of course, wrote The Pilgrim's Progress. This one's not in the clearance section, but Pilgrim's Progress, this is a great new edition of that you can pick up. But Grace Abounding is John Bunyan's autobiography, and so if you want to be encouraged by the life of a great Christian from the past, this is a good one to pick up. Nice, beautiful hardcover edition, usually 25, going for 15 at the moment. Let me tell you about a couple of newer books. This one here, Christianity and Liberalism by Gresham Machen, is not new, but this is a new edition, a legacy edition done up by Westminster Seminary Press, and that's why we're running late. So I won't tell you too much about that because there's a little promo video that you'll see come out in the next few days on that one. And this one here is also new this one's very new, by Megan Hill. It's called A Place to Belong, Learning to Love the Local Church. And what she does in this book, I love any book about the church. I think it's such a wonderful topic. But in this book, she works through the words that are used in Scripture to refer to the church. Words like beloved, brothers and sisters, saints, chosen, called, those sorts of words, and looks at how those words bring out something of the beauty and the glory of the church, the local church. And so it's obviously framed mostly towards women, you can tell from the cover, but very helpful, I think, for anyone who wants to have their view of their local congregation lifted up and to see how God views it in such a wonderful light. Do feel free to comment if you have any questions. I've got a few more books here to tell you about. These are not new or anything, I just wanted to highlight them because I think they're worth highlighting. The first is The Ten Commandments by Kevin DeYoung. If you haven't thought about the Ten Commandments in a while, they're core aspects of our Christian faith. They should be bread and butter, something we consider often and apply to our lives in a rich way. And Kevin DeYoung's done this work to help us to do that. Very accessible, very practical. Get on it. Another one worth mentioning is Not Home Yet. I won't tell you too much about this. If you want to see more about it, there's interviews that we've done with Ian Smith and book reviews on our website that you can look up. But this book just got shortlisted for the Australian Christian Book of the Year. So it must be good. If they think so. And the last one that I want to just highlight, we've picked this out previously, but I just finished reading it and it's really, really good. It's called Ploductivity by Douglas Wilson, A Practical Theology of Work and Wealth. Now, the first part of this book is fairly long and fascinating. It's a theology of wealth and technology. And he tries to show, I think in a very good way, that technology is a form of wealth, and so we should use it in that way. But where you really start to get your money's worth is in the tiny little bit at the end where he actually starts applying those concepts to the purpose of being more productive. And there's some just really cracking stuff in there. There's a few pages that are just, I think, worth the price of the book in terms of how to get stuff done and how to be effective and fruitful with our time. So if you are looking for a work on productivity, this is up there in my top 3 books on productivity for Christians. So that's all I have for you today. Again, feel free to get in touch with us if you'd like recommendations on books. Otherwise, I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. Thanks for joining me for Browse the Bookshop with Tom.